this video, we'll be taking a look at Crosshair, based on his appearance as part of the Bad Batch in Season 1 and at the very end of the Clone Wars for the Black Series 6-inch line. So, between him and Hunter, they're probably the most highly sought after Bad Batch characters, mostly because of the rarity behind them. And at this time, at the time of this video, we still don't have a TBC scale Crosshair, which is extremely unfortunate, so I think people are seeking this one out even more so than the Hunter one. Fortunately for me, though, back in 2022, I actually got this for a really good deal from a guy. Between him and Saj Ventress, I got them both together, and the price for each of them was probably like $30, but I paid $60 for Ventress and Crosshair combined, which is not a bad deal at all. Even at that time, Ventress was a little bit more on the expensive side, I think. These days, or at least last I checked, I don't think Ventress is too expensive on the aftermarket. But still, $30 for Crosshair, pretty good deal, especially these days. He goes like way up in the hundreds sometimes, which is ridiculous. I would not recommend paying prices like that, even if you really want him. I would hope that Hasbro is aware of the rarity between Hunter and Crosshair, and they'll do an archive release of him or both of them at some point. And as I mentioned in the Hunter video previously, as part of this series of reviewing all the Bad Batch, unfortunately Crosshair was in short supply at the time, and it just didn't quite make its way around logistically because it was during all the lockdowns and all the shipping problems and you name it. And unfortunately Crosshair just didn't make its way into the market really. I don't think anyone really found Hunter or Crosshair at retail ever. I know I didn't, but I've never heard of anyone really finding them. Of course, Tech and Wrecker we can find in abundance, but they were released at much later time. But still, this Crosshair is an excellent action figure. I don't have the Imperial Crosshair. That one's actually pretty easy to get a hold of, but I'm not a huge fan of that armor. When I think of Crosshair, I think of him as in this traditional looking armor here, and it's a very nice action figure. It has a lot of great accessories about him. He's just a really neat design overall, and I think a lot of people would say that this might be the best one that Hasbro made of the entire Bad Batch squad so far. It's open to debate, of course. I would argue he might be my favorite. It's just a very well put together action figure, and even though his rifle is basically as big as he is, he holds it just fine, and it's not top heavy, or it's no problem for him at all, really. Anyways, well, what more can I say about this? Similar to Hunter, I think he was one of the very last action figures that was $19.99, and sometimes, depending which site you look for them, they were $24.99 or $22.99. I forget which one it was at the time. So it was still during that transition phase when we saw our first significant markup on the Black Series action figures, for the standard figures, that is. Let's just go and take a closer look at them. So, if you've been following the Bad Batch, you would know that Crosshair is much more cynical compared to the rest of his squad mates, and quite frankly, even at this point in the series, I don't understand his motive at all. And it's like one day he's friendly with the Bad Batch, and next day he wants to get rid of them, and he swears loyalty to the Empire, and then not his friends, and then he feels bad about it. I don't get it. Hopefully, at the end of Season 3 here, it clears up that matter for us. So far at this point, Crosshair is kind of portraying himself as like a liability. But we have seen in these initial episodes of Season 3 that he is helping out Omega, so maybe he's had a change of heart. We'll see. So as far as clones is concerned, I would say Crosshair might be the most unique one of them all. He really doesn't even look like a clone at all. Not just between his armor, but his head underneath as well. In fact, I'll show that right now. I will mention as well, he probably has one of the best fitted helmets I've ever seen, especially among all the Bad Batch characters here. You can't even see his chin at all, and it's a nice fit. It stays into place, it's not too big, not too small. And here he is, without his helmet on. He does have the crosshairs tattooed around his eye there. Looks really good. It's a very nice head sculpt. There's his gray hair there. So now we know that Crosshair goes for the shaven look. He has the damage on his right side, I think, from when he got blasted with that engine in Season 1. He has a much larger skull on his shoulder armor here compared to Hunter. In fact, I'll bring Hunter out right now. Show that. See the difference between the two. Still has the 99 on it. And he has a slightly different shoulder armor here. It has this pike or this extra piece on it. Something that Crosshair has that Hunter doesn't is a holster for his DC-17 pistol there, which is nice. Does have this bandolier here. See, he has all his rounds. I'm not sure if you can take the belt off. I'm sure you can if you finagle with it, but I'm not sure if it's a piece that's meant to be. It is a separate piece from this figure, though. It looks pretty good. So for the rest of his belt, about the same, and the legs are the same as Hunter there. So probably the main draw with Crosshair here is his accessories. As far as articulation, it's all the exact same thing as Hunter. If you watch that video, it's same thing as I previously mentioned. Even the head here, exact same thing. So no difference. He's super articulated. But the main draw with him is his accessories here. Especially his extremely large sniper rifle here. Let's see here. Yeah, like I said, it's just about as big as he is. Just about a head's shorter. It's a pretty large piece, as you can see, but it has a lot of nice detailing in it. It looks really good. Has the compensator here. Has the scope. The grip. And the stock back here. And you can take it apart. And something unique about Crosshair's pack here is a slight retool from Hunter's. Actually, it's a totally different pack, I think. But you can equip him with his sniper rifle. I assume you want... let's see. Want something like that. And then has this peg on the side of the barrel there. And he has this hole on his backpack. It goes in like so. It looks really good. So fortunately for Crosshair, he can hold all his weaponry. And here's his helmet here. She does have the rangefinder, which is movable. So if you're big into dioramas, this is an excellent action figure. You can get Crosshair in some really nice sniper poses. Maybe have him hanging from a tree or something like that. And like I said, it's probably one of the best fitting helmets between all the Bad Batch so far. It's really good there. Not sure if this rifle is supposed to be in that position or some other. No, that won't work. Maybe it does. It's supposed to be like that. Something else to note about this figure here is Hasbro didn't even bother to fill in that hole where the sheave will go for Hunter. See, they both use the same arm, but instead of making it unique to Crosshair, Hasbro just left that. Which is kind of deceiving. You think that'd be a special part or accessory or something that Crosshair can utilize that for. They can't. I guess if you have an extra sheave lying around, you can make that work and put one on Crosshair and give him his own knife as well. Even standing like that, he looks really cool. Of course, it's the same DC-17 pistol that we always get. It's a good holster though, fits into place pretty good, and it stays in place. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about Crosshair, so would I recommend him for your collection? Personally, I think he's the best put together member of the Bad Batch for action figure form that we've gotten to date. Obviously, there's no mercenary gear or anything like that for him. It's just this one and then the Imperial Crosshair that we have for the Black Series. And the Imperial one is nice, but I'm not going to bother getting it because there's really not a whole lot else new about it compared to this one. And I'd rather have Crosshair in his Republic armor, basically, instead of his Imperial armor. But it's a well put together action figure. Would highly recommend it. I would say be kind of wary about paying or overpaying for it, basically. Try to look for a deal. And like I said, maybe Hasbro will do an archive release at some point. I hope they do. I know a lot of people would appreciate that. But it's a solid action figure all around. If you could only have one Bad Batch member for your collection and price is not a factor, I would say this is the one to get, even above Hunter, Tech, and Wrecker. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.